loss feels harder than it should, even when you're doing everything right, you're tracking consistently, eating the right foods, and doing everything you're told, this video is for you. Because at some point, fat loss stops responding to effort and starts responding to signals. And protein is one of the strongest signals your body listens to. Not because it's magic, not because calories don't matter, but because protein changes how safe your body feels, and safety changes everything. Most people start fat loss the same way. They eat less, they move more, they tighten control, and at first it works. But then something strange happens. Hunger gets louder, energy drops, cravings feel more intense, and fat loss slows down, or in my case, completely stops. So people assume they just need more discipline, less food, more cardio, more restrictions, but what's actually happening is not a motivation issue. It's a signal issue because the body doesn't interpret eating less as fat loss. It interprets it as uncertainty. Your body doesn't count calories the way apps do, because you just plug into the app all of the foods that you ate that day. It'll tell you your carbs, your calories, your protein, your fat, everything you need to know. And if you get the fancy one, it'll tell you all of your micronutrients as well to make sure you get all of your vitamins and minerals for the day. Your body doesn't care about that. It responds to blood sugar stability, muscle preservation, hormone signals, stress levels, and nervous system state. And when those signals suggest scarcity or stress, the body protects energy. And this protection shows up as a slower metabolism, stronger hunger signals, fatigue, stubborn fat retention. Not because you're broken, but because your body is doing exactly what it is designed to do. Let me give a little analogy here. Your body doesn't see what's going on. Your body, like I said, responds to signals. So for all your body knows, you're stuck on a deserted island where there is no food and you got a lion chasing you all day. And all your body can think is, we need to survive. We do not want to get attacked by the lion. We do not have enough food here, so we're going to hold on to as much energy as we can. And that is exactly what your body starts doing, because you're not consuming enough of the right stuff that's going to give your body the signals it needs to know that fat loss is a safe choice. And here's my story, because for a long time, I thought my issue with food was a lack of control. But when I really looked at it without judgment, I realized something else was happening. When I was younger, I didn't overeat because food was good or because I didn't know any better. I did. I was old enough to know better, to eat everything that was within arm's reach and whatever was on the $5 menu on the fast food restaurant board at the drive-thru. I overate because food lowered stress in that moment. I was stressed out, hard day at work, I was exhausted, I needed something, I needed fuel. And that's all my brain knew, was like, we need to feel good because we don't feel good right now. So I go and I get something that makes me feel good, which is food. And it helped lower my stress in the moment. I got comfort, it gave me a little bit of relief, but then later I would crash. And I would crash physically, mentally, and emotionally. What I didn't understand at the time was that my body was constantly cycling between stress and relief. Food wasn't the problem. It was simply the fastest available coping tool. And when I tried to remove food without changing the biological signals underneath, my body pushed back harder. And this is where the protein comes in. Because protein does something very different than carbs or fats by themselves. Protein stabilizes blood sugar, protects muscle, increases satiety hormones so you don't feel hungry as much, and reduces physiological stress over time. In simple terms, protein tells your body, we're not in danger. And when the body doesn't panic, behavior changes. Hunger becomes clearer instead of urgent. Cravings lose intensity. Food stops feeling like an emergency. That's not discipline, that's biology. This was a major shift for me. Instead of asking, how little can I eat and still lose fat? I started asking, What helps my body feel supported enough to function well? Eating enough protein didn't erase stress from my life. What it did was remove the biological chaos that made stress harder to manage. Hunger wasn't screaming. Blood sugar wasn't crashing. My body wasn't asking constantly for relief. In fact, I started getting better sleep at night. Protein didn't do emotional work for me. It just stopped making everything harder. I still had to deal with the emotional issues and stressors in my life, the things that I needed to work through. But not adding fuel to the fire really helped make it easier to manage. I also want to say this very clearly. I used to be afraid of food, afraid of fats because I didn't understand how they worked, and afraid of carbs because I didn't understand how they worked. Afraid that going 100 calories over my target would immediately turn into body fat. That fear kept my body stressed, even when my diet looked perfect on paper. When I stopped eating from fear and started eating from feedback, everything changed. Not emotionally overnight, physiologically first. And when the body is calmer, decisions feel clearer. And understand, it's literally not overnight. It'll take maybe a few days to a couple weeks before you start noticing how the change is improving for you. So you got to give it time. It's not a magic pill. Also, calories matter, but the order of signals matter more. When protein comes first, blood sugar is steadier, insulin response is calmer, hunger hormones stay regulated, muscle is protected, and that makes fat loss easier, more predictable, less mentally exhausting. This is why some people lose fat eating more and not less. Not because the calories disappeared, but because the stress did. If fat loss feels harder than it should right now, it's not because you're weak. It's not because you lack the discipline. And it's not because you're doing everything wrong. It may simply be because your body hasn't felt safe enough yet. Protein is not just fuel. It's a signal. And when your body receives the right signals, fat loss stops feeling like a battle and starts feeling cooperative.